We're back
I know.
for a second episode.
Right?
I'm
Welcome
Susan.
to Michelle. Welcome
to the Unapologetic Duo.
Okay, guys. So today we're going to talk about me.
Yes,
Finally.
Michelle.
No, yeah.
Tell us about you.
I gotta tell you about you. Let's see. No. We're really gonna just talk about. I don't even know. Like, I was married at 18.
So young.
I was super young, and I grew up in a children's shop, pretty much. Yeah, my parents owned a children's shop, and I worked there way too many hours as a kid.
I can relate to that.
Yes, definitely. We'll get into that too someday. But and it was fun. I feel like it taught me a lot. But I was so eager to get just away from the house and everything. So it's like, I feel like that's why I got married so young, but I'm not sure. But I met my oldest son's dad. Oh, it's just so crazy. I met him in a neighborhood. It's like driving through this neighborhood where I was like, so at 17, I told my dad, I'm going to go for the summer and spend the summer with my friend. And I did. I was almost 18 actually, but I was 17. And my dad, of course, was like, no, but I did it anyways. I didn't listen. And so I stayed with her. She was in this apartment complex. And
wait, who was her?
A friend of mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a friend of mine that I went to school with. She lived in this apartment complex, was like, I don't know, maybe 6 blocks from my parents' house. I don't know. It was like one town over. And yeah, so I was driving through the neighborhood with a friend, and I just seen this guy standing outside, and I was like, who's that guy? Like, I knew everybody in that neighborhood. And I was like, who the heck is that guy? Like, who does he think he is? And so, long story short, I just like went up to him and started talking to him. And it's interesting because he didn't really speak any English. And
up to this day?
Well, he speaks English now, but it's just he chooses not to.
Him.
I know. I don't know. It's so weird. I feel like he chooses not to though.
Oh.
For real. I don't know.
And his accent is still very thick.
You think so? I guess I'm so... Yeah, I guess you're right. It is kind of thick. I don't know. I honestly feel like he does it on purpose because he texts me in Spanish and he still talks to me in Spanish and I'm over here in all English and everything. But so just so everybody knows, if you didn't listen to our first podcast, I am half Hispanic. My dad is from Mexico. My mom is from Newport Beach. I was born in Laguna Beach. And I have blue eyes like my dad, but apparently I look a spitting image of my mother. But
Scary.
Yes. And as I'm getting older, apparently I act like her, but I definitely have a little bit more of my dad's wild personality. But anyways, so... And my parents, we pretty much had money growing up as a kid. Like, I mean, we never wanted for anything. We had 8 cars and only 2 people driving.
Crazy.
Oh, my dad had an obsession with buying cars. I can't even, like, every April, May, around that time, he would be, like, at the car dealership buying cars. And my mom...
Is that the best time to buy
I honestly
cars?
don't know. It's just, I don't know what his deal was, but he was always buying new cars, which was fun, but... Anyways, and we had a car for like our store, was this big station wagon we called La Bamba, and that's where we would like put all of the clothing to transfer from the warehouse to the store. And then my dad had his truck, and my dad was a ham radio operator, and so he had his big antennas, all dorky antennas in the back of his truck, and yeah, with his little license plate that had his like call thing on it and stuff. But I was like such a rebel, so like I never did drugs in high school or even after high school or even now to this day, and I've never smoked cigarettes, but I like to drink. I mean, who doesn't really, I guess. But I used to hang out with a lot of gang members. I did. It's so crazy. And I don't know why. But and I went to school with a lot of them, and we lived in a really good town. I mean, like grew up in Dana Point. And my dad used to say to me, why do you hang out with those people? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I just didn't understand it or see it, but I was rebellious, I guess. I don't know. And so, like I said, I was driving through this neighborhood and I seen this guy hang outside, and I'm super outgoing. Apparently I was really outgoing then. And so I walked.
Now you talk to everyone.
I know. And so I went up to him and I'm like, hey, what's your name? And then he was like, Carlos. And I'm like, oh, hey.
Wasn't it like on a holiday?
It was. Oh my gosh. So, no, actually, it wasn't that day. It was like it was that weekend. So I had seen him like on a Thursday or something like that. And then I think the weekend was going to be the 4th of July.
So you invited him?
I did. I was with a bunch of my friends. They were so mad at me that I
that's
invited him because they were like, no, there's going to be a bunch of guys there. You don't need to invite any. But I'm like, no, I'll be right back. So I went and I told them, hey, you want to come? And, that's a horrible story. But yeah, I invited him. So he came in the car with us. My friends were in the back. He was in the front seat with me. And so we're driving down to the beach. And of course, it's packed because it's 4th of July. You know, everybody's there. And they do this huge fireworks show. And so parking was like a nightmare. And so I told my friends, I'm like, hey, I'll may just drop you off. And then I'm going to go find a parking spot and I'll be there, you know. And, I didn't even think about it like that. My other friends, the guy friends, would be like kind of irritated that I brought him. But we never made it to that party.
Wait, what?
Yeah, we didn't.
What?
So we went to look for a place to park. And there's this like park up at the very top of the hill that like overlooks the ocean. And it's like a playground next to a hotel. So it's like a playground that overlooks the ocean, and then there's a hotel to the side or whatever. And I ended up finding a parking spot there. And I was like too lazy to walk all the way down to the beach. I would have to go all the way down the hill and whatever. So we ended up not going, and we hung out the whole night at that park.
Oh, wow. Just
talking and whatever. And so, we were there, and then we went home like, I don't know, at midnight. And the time that we were there, he's so weird.
He's so weird.
He is. He's like, I don't know why I didn't see it then, but he was like,
what did he do?
He said the one thing that's like, I don't even. Whoa! Blooper. Anyways, the one thing that I remember only about that night, and then I ditched my friends, but was that he said to me how many pieces of grass are in the grass, and I looked at him like, what?
Are you sure that's what he said?
Ask him. You get to ask him. That is, yeah, it was the dumb thing.
Maybe that's
I misunderstood him. No, I don't know. He did. It was weird. But anyways, we kissed that night. Ooh. And then, yes. And oh my gosh, the next morning my friends were so perturbed because they ended up having to walk home.
Oh no.
So I shouldn't be laughing, but it was a really, really long walk home. So they were really, really mad at me. So anyways, like fast forward to that, I don't know, we just were dating and we had some problems, not like between the two of us at that time, but with a lot of my friends. They were kind of mad that I was dating him. And so, but anyways, I got married at 18. I was pregnant at 19. And I was so he was born in April. My birthday is in May, so I was super close to being 20, but I was really, really young. But I was super happy about that because I wanted to have a boy first, and I wanted to be a young mom. So
that's good.
Yeah, but I mean, I was not financially set, and so it's kind of a bummer because he got really freaked out, and when he found out I was pregnant,
Carlos,
he did, yeah, he got super freaked out and went home to his mom back in Mexico. So he was gone for the whole pregnancy, pretty much, almost the whole pregnancy. Yeah. And it's interesting, we're pretty open and blunt about it. We don't really have any secrets, but Alex barely just knew recently that,
did we tell them his name yet?
Did
we?
Yeah.
Mention his name?
We did.
Oh.
Yeah.
I forgot.
I think it's like our friends. We won't mention our friends' names, but I think family, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so, anyways, okay, so maybe lose track. Oh, wait. Yeah. So he went back home, and I hadn't told Alex for a really long time that his dad wasn't there for his birth. I kept it from him for a really long time because
he knows now.
He knows now.
Oh, okay.
But I just didn't want it to be one of those things where, he felt like it was him, but it wasn't. And they don't really have the closest relationship even now. So it's kind of a bummer. But, so he came back, and a lot of my friends, I have a really good friend that lived in that neighborhood that knows his family and his sisters and stuff. And his sisters were super mean to me at the beginning because they were, they didn't want us together, even though I was pregnant with his baby. And I think they just didn't believe maybe that it was his. Who knows? I don't know. But I had a friend that was there, and he kept saying to me, oh, stop trying to find him. Don't come over here and look for him and stuff, because you know, he left, so why should you, you know, come back? And I mean, I didn't do things right at all, you know. I just really didn't. I don't know what I was thinking.
Alex
But
is here,
I
and
know.
I'm here.
I know. And so, but anyways, so then he came back and I was already in an apartment prior to him coming back. So, and was living by myself with my little guy. And, yeah, and then he came back into my life, and we stayed married for quite some time.
Yeah.
And you want to know something really interesting? Nothing to do with that, but like, Alex, forever and ever, I kept saying he was like an under 7 pound baby. And the other day, I don't know under 7 pounds. Like I kept telling everybody, yeah, I think he was like 7 pounds, something ounces.
I thought you said he's 9 pounds.
He was 8 pounds, 14 ounces, something like that. 21 inches long. That I do remember. But yeah, I was fibbing about his weight. It was such an easy pregnancy. I didn't actually even know, which is another story.
Well, you were really young.
I didn't know I was pregnant. And actually, I had gotten sick, and my parents took me to the emergency room. Yeah, they took me to the emergency room, and the doctor said, you know, are you pregnant? And I was like, no. And he was like, okay, well, we need to do a test anyways, because we're going to give you medicine, and we don't want to affect the baby if you're pregnant. I was like, I'm not pregnant. My mom and my dad were both there. And so then, let's see, that when my doctor came back, he was like, oh, do you want your parents in the room? And I was like, no, just my dad. And so then it turns out I was pregnant. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm pregnant, Dad. And then my mom, you know, and it's like, yeah. But my dad was super duper excited, though. I think he didn't really care.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, it is. But
and then we'll probably talk about your relationship with your mom later.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. I mean, my relationship's better with her, but oh, she drives me crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we lived together for a really long time. We lived in a couple apartments, and then lived with his sister lived with us for a little while, which was fun. And then we bought a house. We moved out of our town and bought a house.
Aww.
Yeah, and we remodeled that house. That was kind of pretty cool. And then we sold that and bought another house, a brand new one. And because the first house we bought was like more of a fixer-upper.
Okay.
And but within that time, for a really long time, things just, I think we just kind of grew apart. It was just different. But I think I'm like fast forwarding. So before that, I ended up getting pregnant with my daughter. Whoa! Another blooper.
Oh my gosh.
Things are falling from the ceiling, so just ignore it. But anyways, yeah, so I got pregnant with my daughter, and so they are about, 7 years apart?
Yeah,
something like that.
7 years.
I don't know why I waited so long to get pregnant again. I mean, I had so much fun with Alex growing up. Like, he did a lot of commercials when he was younger. We did a ton of beauty pageants, and that was a lot of fun. And I was just so busy with him, I just didn't think about getting pregnant again. And I had gotten into a really big fight with his dad, and I told him I wanted him to move out. I didn't want him there anymore, and I even called his brother in front. I'm like, you need to come get him.
Was this when you were pregnant?
Before I got pregnant with Alyssa.
Okay.
Yeah. And so he left and sat at my staircase every day after work until I let him back in. And then I did miscarry once before her, and then I ended up getting pregnant with her. And so, yeah, she was a peanut. She was like 4 pounds, 4 ounces. She was so little. And so then, yeah, and so we were in the house. So we moved into that brand new house, and I think she was like 2.5, 3, I don't remember. And it was a cute, fun house. We remodeled it, like I said. He was really...
Was that the one where the closet thing with her?
Yes. Oh my gosh. She used to think the devil was, yeah. It was a hat, I think, really, because it had like chili peppers on it that looked like devil horns. I don't know. But she used to sleepwalk a lot and sleep talk.
Does
and
she
sleep
still
cry.
do that?
No, thankfully.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh, so
Good.
scary. Yeah. But, and I just feel like within that time we were growing apart. You know, he doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke.
He doesn't drink?
Not
He
really.
still doesn't?
He does now, but like when we were younger, he didn't. we had really good friends that lived up the street, and I would always go up there and drink with them, and he would come in with us. But he never really drank much back then. So
I didn't know that.
no. Now he does, because he has like a beer belly that he did not have when he was married to me. I mean, I don't know, but I don't know. And it's like, I was really busy, like I said, with Alex. He played club soccer. We were always in sports. But he played baseball. He was in soccer. He did commercials. I was busy all the time. And sometimes he just wouldn't go with. And I feel like we really grew apart.
Aww.
And we were just different people. And he would do things that drove me crazy. And say things that are almost kind of verbally abusive, but not so much really towards me. There was just things that he did that were really frustrating. Like, he would say racist things, and I didn't want him talking like that in front of my kids, you know? And then also, and mind you, we have a very good relationship now. We are not married anymore. We ended up getting a divorce, but we are really close. I talk to him a lot, and he still calls me and asks me for help for things that every once in a while. But I always call and check up on him. Yeah, but he just, I don't know. We're totally two different people. Like, that's literally the only thing I can think of to say. But he just would say things that drove me crazy, and I just wasn't happy with it. And it ended up being that I honestly stopped sleeping in the same room with him. So I slept in Alyssa's room a lot. And I mean, of course, that'll rip a marriage apart too, because you're not being intimate, and then you're also not, you know, really there for each other and stuff. And so, and he wouldn't go, you know, with us to a lot of the events, and I don't know, it just drove me crazy that we just, like I said, totally two different people growing in different directions. And I had matured a lot, not saying that he didn't, but I think I just matured a lot and kind of knew what I didn't like and what I did like, where, I don't know. We've talked about this before, how I just feel like my head was in my butt.
Well, I mean, you were really young
I was.
when you got married.
And
people grow and change.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I didn't grow up watching a bad marriage. My mom and dad loved each other. Like, my dad loved my mom like crazy. And so I didn't grow up with like any negativity or anything. So, you know, they were pretty, I mean, we had a rough childhood, you know, which we'll talk about someday, but still I didn't see that. So it's not, I don't know. And it wasn't like, there was just a lot of things that I think he was very immature, and he just, I don't know. It's really, it's hard, like, to be married so young, and then you just start to want different things in your life, and you just don't want to be talked to a certain way. And there were some things, like, he would control the money a lot, which was really frustrating. And so, like, he wouldn't buy groceries, and the kids would get fed till late at night because I'd have to wait for him to come home. And it was just little things like that. But he was a good provider. I can't say he wasn't, like I said, and he's a good guy all around. I mean, he's interesting. Like, so I'm very blunt. And so, like, when I talk to him on the phone, so he has a girlfriend that he's living with, and she's okay. I don't know, she doesn't really talk.
Never really
She was at the wedding. She was at your wedding.
Yeah.
She doesn't really talk. She looks mean.
She's very quiet.
She's very quiet.
I never talked to her.
And my daughter's around his girlfriend way more when we were living back at home, because she would go over to her dad's house and the girlfriend would be there and stuff. But when I would like talk on the phone to him and say, "Oh, how's your mom? How's your dad?" I would go through the list of people, and I'd be like, "How's it going with your girlfriend?" This is like at the beginning. He goes, and he would say things like, "Oh, that witch," and you know, yeah, he would say so many, and I'm like,
"Wow,
okay, Carlos, you're like living with her. Like, why do you talk like that about her? It's
mean.
so mean." And he's like,
"Dang,
I know." And I would get after him, and I'm like, after I'd hang up with him, I'd be like, "Oh man, this guy has not changed a bit." And I remember at the beginning too, like, she would complain to Alyssa that he wouldn't help out with the internet bill and stuff like that, but yet then he would use the internet bill. I don't know. And it's so weird to me. So he grew up in a family of 7, and they were all really close, and he's extremely close to his mom, you know, and you just would think that he wouldn't be like that, but, you know, I don't know. Yeah.
And then also, you also mentioned that he is very cheap.
He is.
So,
Yes.
you know, part of that is how Alex is.
Yes, I think his. Well, we all take after our parents, whether we want to or not, in some ways. You know, I mean,
Right.
there's no way to get around that. I feel like, but because I'm remarried now, and my husband, I feel like he's a spitting image of his mom, but in the things that he says and does. So
Your husband.
yes, my husband now that
is
I'm
a
remarried to.
splitting
Image of his mother, yes, when it comes to
Okay.
certain things. Because you know how sometimes we're like, okay, Martyr, your mom's name. And I'm like, okay. And then, but yeah, and he'll say that too about my mom or to me.
Right.
He'll be like, okay,
Yeah.
well, yeah. But I don't know. I think that's normal. But and you too, you might act like your mom, but because your mom's not around that much, so it's
Yeah.
different for me to say, you act like your mother. But you act like somebody. It's not all you, but yeah, so, but yeah,
How old were the kids when you left Carlos?
So Alex was in high school, and I think my daughter was like, Alyssa was in elementary school. So they were pretty young. I want to say she was like 7. She was pretty young, and I think she took it really hard because she didn't. When you're that young, you don't really see mistakes in your parents yet, you know, until you get a little older and start to click in, and you're like, wow, you just did something wrong. Like, for a while there, you look at your parents differently until then all of a sudden you're just like, that's not right, you know? And so I think she took it harder. She didn't really experience the things that Alex went through with his dad. And I think Alex was okay with it because, you know, it was hard. It was an adjustment for him because I didn't really go about it the right way and the separation and everything. But we're okay now. I feel like we're stronger. I don't know. It's a bummer because, like I said, they don't have a good relationship. But I feel like it's more on him. It's not because of me. Because when we did separate, I was very adamant about the kids going into seeing him. I mean, I was constantly pressuring him to call them. And it's just, he, even still to this day, he hardly ever calls it.
You never call.
You guys have been up here for what, 2 years now? No, you've been up here longer than I've been up here. Almost 2 years.
We've been here for 4 years now.
Yeah, and he has never once come to visit and see the house. I don't know, and he hardly ever calls. But I don't know. And I've tried, you know, I've tried with him and you know pushed him. And when we first separated, he was so angry and upset that I left that he didn't want to do child support, so I had to file for that. And then yeah, he kept trying to take all the cars from me, but I was kind of scandalous. I'm not gonna lie. Like, we had the new house, and that's the other thing that really frustrated me too. Our mortgage was like $2,300 a month, and we were barely struggling. That was a bad buy. We weren't ready for that big price of a home. And even though we had made money off the first sale of the home, and we had that money saved, and we were going to just use that until we can refinance, it still was eating away because I was using that money for the mortgage and for food because and for the car payments because he wasn't helping out with money. And I just felt like throughout the years, I just knew that I needed to put it to an end because it just, our relationship wasn't going anywhere. I was getting more frustrated. Alex was getting frustrated. You know what I mean? And I was done. I just needed to be done. I was already checked out way before that, you know? And so, and I think he was too. I just think he didn't really realize it. I think he realizes it now, but I don't think he realized it then. So he was really upset, and he took off back home to Mexico again with that. And that's fine. I understand. And so I told him, I go, hey, we have to, you know, I quickly got the house on a short sale because I didn't want it, you know, a foreclose on my record.
Yeah,
you know, that's scary. Sure. Yeah. And so I called my realtor and I said, hey, I need to get this house sold like ASAP. And she was great on getting that done. But there was so much stuff in the house, and where was I going to take it to? You know what I mean? So I pretty much sold everything. I sold like my dining room table, my couch. Yes, like literally everything. I gave the washer and dryer to my mom because she needed a new one. I gave her a new refrigerator because what was I going to do with it? I was moving into an apartment that already had it, you know? And when he came back, all he had left was his clothes. I left him the bed. That's it. You guys have the TV.
Yeah, we still
the big
have
screen TV.
It's like a dinosaur
It is
TV.
so old.
It's so old, and it's so heavy and big. but
Yeah.
it still works.
It still works.
And we still have the subwoofer.
Yes.
Is it-
Yes.
the
one of them doesn't work
speakers-
though. But
No, it does.
Oh, it
they
does?
all work.
Oh wow! And the DVD player.
The
that does-
DVD
Yes,
player with
yes.
the 5 discs.
Yes, that was pretty
change.
cool though. Come on, you have to admit that that's pretty cool because then you can just like put a bunch of movies in there and
Yeah,
that one's pretty cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so he wanted to know where that TV was, and I was like, you should have been here. Why did you take off? But yeah.
So you had the TV. The TV's been to so many places.
It has,
too,
but
right?
Alex really wanted it, so it's here. Nobody really uses it anymore because we have like upgraded TVs now, but. It's in the guest bedroom.
Room.
Yeah. But and he knows where it's at now. And I'm like, well, you should not have left. Like he knew we have these responsibilities and he should have came back and been there. And he came back like a day before everything was gonna get out. And left it all up to me to pack everything up. So I literally sold everything. I left him the mattress and his clothes. I know, it was bad.
Aww.
Yeah.
So what happened? Where did you move to after?
Temecula. I ended up getting an apartment in Temecula. I mean, at first I was living in Paris with my future husband now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I said, I still didn't do things right. But, I mean, I don't want anybody to think, and this is still kind of a struggle of a conversation, I think, for a lot of people that know me. A lot of people think I left him for who I'm with now.
Really?
Yes, a lot of people do because the timing was off. We were working together and he was my friend, but we weren't dating. And I did fall into a new relationship a little quick.
You were divorced though at this point.
I had already asked for a separation from him, and then so we had planned this huge trip to go to Mexico to see his family, and I didn't want my kids to miss out on that because they really, the last time they had seen their grandparents, because they can't come here, was like they were young, and I didn't want to take that away from them. And we were driving, and it was an experience that the kids needed to experience, you know. And so we went ahead with that, and I actually slept in the truck, probably more so because Alex was so scared to sleep in the home because of earthquakes. He's like, which really at this time, now that I think about it, that was still a dumb move because if there had been an earthquake, we were in the truck basically in the house under the garage of the house. So if the house had fallen from an earthquake, we still would have, we'd been in a rubble. Oh. So in reality, sleeping in the truck wasn't any wiser.
Yeah.
But we did it anyways. It made Alex feel better. And Alyssa slept upstairs. She was fine with it. But
wow.
His mom knew at that time that there was something going on between the two of us, that we were not like how we were before. But it was when we got back, I was so upset because his cousin, somebody was supposed to be watching our German Shepherd, and I came back and the German Shepherd got best dog ever. So, and that really upset me, and he just acted like he didn't care. And then we had gotten him a dog, and he let that one starve to death. I mean, there was just so many things that he did that upset me, and it just really pushed me more to the edge to be like, I just can't do this anymore. So I was friends with my future husband now, and we were working and stuff, but I don't know. I feel like there are quite a few people that, and even my mom too, I think she thinks that I left Carlos for my future husband. And the timing seems right, you know, but I don't know.
Was it really quick?
I
don't know the full story.
It was pretty quick. Like I pretty much left Carlos and moved the kids out, and then I moved in with my husband now so quickly, you know. But and as much as my husband drives me crazy and I'm like, can you just go away and not be around me? I don't like you right now. And I've been through a lot with him too. There's such a difference between the two of them because I feel like my husband now really tries to be a better person and make me happy, and puts up with my shit too. So, but anyways, and then the kids now have another sibling, a half brother. So I got pregnant, but later, it wasn't right away, like way later actually.
How many years have you been with?
Well,
before you.
That's a really quick. I was 35 when I got pregnant with Greg.
Okay,
but. Gosh, I don't even know. Years, like 2 years at least.
Oh, okay.
A year, 2 years before I got pregnant again. And, oh my gosh, we'll go into that whole pregnancy another time because that's an interesting story, and that too will help somebody else. But I don't know, it's just rough. So I don't recommend, getting married at 18 or 19.
I mean,
or even 20. I mean, because
yeah.
Alex, that was his biggest thing. He didn't want to be married young. Like, he was on the ship in the Navy, and almost everybody on there was married, and he was like, he wanted to be married for the right reasons. And I think a lot of the things he does today and the way he thinks today is because of the childhood he grew up with,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that affected him.
I think your story probably is really helpful to people out there, because I'm sure there's someone out there who got married young, and they're probably in the situation that you were when you had your first kid, or
Yeah, and I'm proud of my kids. I'm proud of Alex. He didn't get anybody pregnant, and he was very respectful to women. And then my daughter especially, I mean, she's 23, still not pregnant, not married.
They're very responsible.
They are, aren't they?
I know. I really want my kid to be like that.
Yeah, and I'm really proud of Alyssa, because she knows what she wants. She knows what she doesn't want to happen. She wants certain things in place, before she takes those steps. So that's pretty cool. I'm glad they didn't. But none of my kids really act like me, because I was so bad. Ooh. Yeah.
And they're not even talkative like you either.
No. Alyssa's getting there, though. She's getting there. She sometimes gets... Yeah.
I mean, she's really chatty.
Right.
But she's not crazy like how you are.
Oh, no. So, like, I'll go out on dates with my husband. And, like, one, for instance, we were at this movie theater, and he said, okay, well, I'm going to go get our popcorn. I was like, okay. And he goes... But when I come back, can you have not, like, made friends with everybody in line? I just want this to be a you and I dating thing, and not, like, you, I, and everybody in this damn movie theater. I was like, okay. I feel like I have on my forehead that says, tell me everything that's going on in your life.
Talk to me.
Yeah, tell me, please. I'm here to help you. I give really good advice, but I feel like that's what was going on the whole time. And before you knew it, I had a full conversation with, like, 3 people around me. And he came back, and I knew where they were living and the job that they had, and... Yeah, it's just, but anyways, back to that. Yeah, so it's hard, and I feel like the newer generation, they don't get married right away. Like, a lot of people wait.
You think so?
No, I take that back. I think people are getting married young, not like 18, 19, but I think in their 20s. But I do notice that a lot of people aren't getting pregnant right away.
Right.
That is the new thing.
Yeah.
Or a lot of people don't
30
even
is the new 20.
I know. Because you have friends that have been married for a while, too, and they don't have any
none
kids.
of my friends have kids.
Yeah. So I bet but you're ready. So
longer, so.
Yeah. But anyways, so we just wanted to kind of let you know a little bit about me. There's a lot to tell about us,
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
For sure.
Yeah, and like I said, back to getting, I didn't get to... So my husband today says to me, I feel like you missed out on, like, the dating in the college years and all this, because I didn't go to college. I mean, I grew up working in my parents' store, like, all the time. That's what my dad wanted for me. He wanted me to own the business. Aww. And that didn't happen, which is kind of a long story. But, so I feel like, getting married at a young age, it's rough. It changes you, and then you miss out on all those milestones that you guys have gotten to experience, So maybe that's why I'm so wild.
I don't know. Maybe.
Because, she has these parties with her friends and never wants to invite me, and I'm like, I'm cool, though. Your friends love me. And your friends do ask, why is your mother-in-law not here?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
Yeah. But she thinks it's weird.
It's a little weird. I'm sure there are people out there who will agree with me.
True.
And I'm sure people out there that will probably agree with you.
Yeah.
But
I'm fun. I'm the fun boss. So
and she is. I mean, she's like my best friend, and
we're very close.
That's how she is with her kids too, and I wished I had that relationship with my mom.
Yeah. Well, a lot of parents have that mentality, and my husband today thinks the same thing. You can't be their friend and their parent. And I'm like, who says? As long as your kids know that you are still the parent and you still have that limit. I mean, there's a limit to being a friend to your kids. It was important to me that, my kids their friends could come over, because if your kids' friends come over, you get to see who they're hanging out with. You get to see, you know, who they are and what that they're making the right choices. And I used to go to a lot of parties with my son and hang out in the car and wait for him, which is a whole other fun topic too, you know, his teenage years growing up. But I think it's important to be a parent and your kids' parents. But a lot of people will disagree. Oh no, you can't be your kids' friends. You know, they you know, you're the parent and that's it. But it's worked for me to be that way with them. You know, I allowed them both to drink before they were 21 because you can tell them no and they're still going to go out and do it. So why not say, hey, if you're going to drink, here are the rules to drinking. I need to know that, hey, I'm at a party, I'm about to drink. I need to know that. And so we always had an open relationship, you know?
Yeah.
And
for sure.
and Alex has only been drunk once at a young age and Alyssa once, but I think she was home. So, I mean, I've never really had problems. They were like such easy teenagers. We still have one more to go. I have an 11-year-old, so.
It's kind of like how the drinking age here is 21 and everywhere else it's 18, and it's such a big problem here because, you know, that limit's 21, so people want to do it even more.
Yeah.
Whereas in other countries where
Mexico,
it's
you
not
can go
that
down
big of a deal, then it's not a problem in those countries.
Right.
Drinking is not a problem in Jamaica.
In the young kids, I guess. Yeah, because it's there and they're just like, eh.
Yeah, they've already experienced that.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, but it was,
you know,
it was easy raising the two of them. I mean, kind of, sort of. I think raising girls is so much harder than boys. But anyways, so we're almost out of time. Yeah, we're almost out of time, and I want to share something with you guys that's super funny. So Susan, tell me, do you know what Family Feud is? It's a TV show.
I've seen it before.
A little bit on TV.
Yeah,
not a whole bunch.
I've never really watched a full on.
So you know, like the concept of it, like it's a game show,
right?
And then so this family is on this side of the on the room or whatever, and then this other side, and then they have like team names or whatever. It could be like the Smiths and whatever, right? And so then the host will pick a name or a topic, right? So this is super funny. And I found this was like, no, this is so sad. And I'm sure some of you already heard about it. But so this family is literally about to go on to the next round. And they could, $10,000, like literally could win them the game with this question. Okay? So.
What's the question?
The guy, you know, the host asks up one from each party.
Okay.
It's a female, the sister, and then a guy from the other team. They get up, they're standing in front of their buzzers, right? And the little bing, which, you know, it's so fun to listen to, pops up, and he says, okay, you know, for this win or whatever, what is Popeye's favorite food? And are you familiar with Popeye? Popeye the Sailor Man? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So anyways, he asks, you know, what's Popeye's favorite food? And she literally was like, beep, really fast. She like hit the buzzer super fast. She goes, chicken! And she like, yes. She goes, but the way she did it was chicken! And she's like dancing up and down like, dude, I'm so right. And everyone in the audience was like, what? And her family member, one of the family members went, oh my God. Like they all, and the guy that's on the other side of her on his buzzer goes, beep. Spinach. Like, super calm, right? They must think they have the dumbest sister on the planet. And then, can you imagine you have to drive home with your family? And you just lost all that money, the whole game, for your whole family. Can you imagine?
That's so sad.
It is so sad.
That is so sad.
I pulled up the video because you have to hear the way she says chicken. I mean, it's hysterical. So, listen. Hold on, I gotta...
Playing for $10,000. That's it. Whoever guesses this wins the game. Here we go. Name Popeye's favorite food.
Chicken.
Chicken. Oh my God. Listen.
Spinach, Sherry.
Is that hysterical? What? But you see her little wiggle down. She's like, chicken. And she's like wiggling her boobs and her hands are up in the air. But the way she said it, dude, she was so confident.
She was.
Isn't it funny?
Yeah.
Anyways, so we always like at the end of the show like to do like a fun fact or
did you know?
Did you know? So the did you know will be more like educational. Like, hey, did you know that in 1950, whatever. But the fun fact is more of like, that's actually, it's
Something funny.
It is super. Can you imagine? I would
That
die.
is so sad.
I know. I honestly would take a taxi home. I would be so scared to go with my family members. And my son, this is his famous thing. Way to go, Mom. Good job. Doesn't he do that to me
Yeah.
all the time? I could hear him on the whole ride home. They would never let that up if I were to be like,
Gosh.
chicken. Is that funny? So she didn't know that I was going to share this with her because it was just too funny.
That is
To
so
keep,
sad.
yeah, it is. So anyways, so listen up, guys. We will be on here every week.
Yep.
Yep. And
Tune
so,
in.
Yes.
And, remember to follow us, subscribe, and like.
Yes.
We are posting these podcasts on YouTube, so you can see our beautiful
Yes.
faces.
Well, or not. Messy. And it's so hot in here. We're like,
It is
it's
hot in here.
Yeah.
But,
But
yeah, so follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
YouTube. Like I said,
Yep,
YouTube.
watch us on YouTube.
Yes, as long as they don't take TikTok down.
Hopefully
Down,
not.
blah, blah, blah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, we're gonna start trying to do some dances
But-
together. I'll be doing most of the dancing. Not quite. Can't tell you what's gonna be happening on her end. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she doesn't dance
So,
very well. But anyways, yeah. So
anyways.
like, subscribe, and then too, like if you guys have anything that you want us to talk about,
Mhm.
I give really good advice. Really good advice. I should have
Yeah.
been a counselor.
I think she should have. I call her all the time for advice,
Yeah.
and I tell my
Can't live
friends
without me.
about her too.
Yes.
And my
Oh.
friends call her for
I
advice.
know. Yeah.
That's another topic
It
for
is.
another day.
It is. But yes,
But-
so if you have anything, shoot us out an email.
Yeah.
Or we'll take your negative comments. We're good with that. But anything, let us know. So, but thank you so much for watching us. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And we'll see you again
Next
in a
time
week.
in a week.
We love you guys.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.